Hi, everybody. Dr. Mark here, and today I want to talk to you about some problems I see that cause crusty noses in dogs. Some people will complain that their dog's nose is dry, but it is not actually crusty. In this video, we will go over some of the most common causes for you, but sometimes when they are seen, it is difficult to tell which is which, and the cells will need to be examined under a microscope. The first thing you need to think about when your dog has a crusty nose is an infection. Young dogs that are very active and bury things with their nose are a lot more likely to develop an infection, and young dogs are also more likely to show up with demodectic mange or a ringworm infection on the face. Infections can happen in any breed. The second thing we commonly see on the nose are autoimmune infections. There are several different types, so these usually have to be diagnosed with a biopsy. The third problem we see quite often is trauma. You might see your dog digging in the dirt, or it might be from stubborn, and you may notice this a day or two after you have taken him to the beach or out hiking. The fourth thing that you have to consider is cancer. A squamous cell carcinoma that affects the nose can start out pretty mild, but as it gets worse, your dog might have nosebleeds and swelling. These are not that common, but if your dog has a pale nose and is out in the sun a lot, he or she is more at risk. Dogs can also develop a crusty sore on the nose from a food allergy, but there's almost always other signs you can look out for, like ear infections, hair loss, itchy feet, and occasional vomiting. Other causes of crusty noses include diseases like calcinosis cutis, but other parts of your dog will also be crusty.
If you are able to tell what is causing your dog's crusty nose, that is a great start, but some of them will need examined even more. A dog with a cracked nose may just have dry skin, but he or she might also have the early stages of one of the problems detailed earlier in the video. Another dog with a pink or red nose that is prone to sunburn can develop pemphigus. A dog with a crusty lump on his nose may have a ringworm infection, or the lump may be cancer. A Siberian husky that appears after a big race could be assumed to have frostbite but really be suffering from a food allergy. If the bridge of the nose is also crusty and the dog has symptoms consistent with a Demodex infection, your vet will still want to scrape the skin and look for mites. A crusty nose can be the first sign of a disease that will take your dog's life if not treated. The only way to find out for sure which disease is affecting him is by an exam, response to therapy, and testing. The next most common thing I am asked is if the sick dog is going to get better. That really depends on why he or she has a crusty nose. Mange used to be a very serious problem and led to many dogs being put to sleep. Most dogs now get better. If the infection is fungal, your dog may need to take pills and may need antibiotics if it is a fungal infection. Autoimmune diseases can be treated with injections of steroids. If you give steroids to a dog with demodectic mange, he will get worse. Many dogs get better, but some need to receive treatment for the rest of their lives. If your dog's nose has been traumatized and since become infected with bacteria, there are several antibiotics that might help clear it up. If you give antibiotics to a dog with an autoimmune disease, it will not help. A dog with a mild trauma will get better and never need treatment again for this problem. You can try putting your dog on an elimination diet if you and your vet suspect a food allergy, and if you find the cause, the sores will disappear. An elimination diet removes one protein source from the diet at a time until you are able to find out what is causing your dog's problem. It is not just changing the food. Cancer can be treated traditionally or alternatively. It is important to know the cause and how aggressive the tumor is before choosing the best treatment. Some cases recover and the dog never has a relapse after the appropriate treatment.
There are some basic things you can do at home for any dog with a crusty nose. But, as I emphasized earlier in this video, it is often hard to tell what is causing the crusty nose without diagnostics. Always wear latex gloves before treating your dog's face. Some of the diseases are zoonotic, spread from animal to man, and might infect any scratches or other open wounds on your hands. First, gently wash the face with warm water. Next, take some dilute betadine from your first aid kit and dab it on the crusty facial lesions with a cotton ball to treat any primary or secondary infection. Do not scrub it since that might cause bleeding and might mess up the biopsy that will help diagnose the skin problem. If you need to, dab the skin dry with a clean paper towel. The last step is to apply coconut oil with a cotton ball. It is a great moisturizer and natural antibiotic, so it will moisten a dry nose and make your dog feel better until you can have him examined. If the nose has several open sores, this might be painful for your dog, and you might need to put him on systemic antibiotics before applying this moisturizer. There are some nasal balms sold by pet stores for dogs with crusty noses, but none of them are superior to coconut oil. Do not try to treat the sores on his nose with topical antibiotics. He will just lick them off, and they might cause him to have diarrhea. Take the dog in to see his veterinarian as soon as possible. If you cannot afford to take your dog in for an exam and diagnostic testing, some vets will treat the dog based on what it might be. Sometimes this will work, but at other times, your dog will suffer, and it will end up costing you more in repeated visits and additional medication. Try to do the best you can for your companion.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about this, you can read my articles at pethelpful.com or go to my Ask a Vet column at that site. If you found this information helpful, please like this video, and if you want to learn more health information for your dog, you can subscribe.